Okay. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. In accordance with Section 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. Now, I will introduce the panelists today. My name is Yim Chen. I will chair the meeting today. And in person is Douglas Wilkins and also Ms. Lois Fix. And joining us online is Dylan Reed. The Committee of Adjustment consider application for variances from the provision of the zoning and that applies to the property, permission to extend or alter lawful non-conforming uses, and also consent to serve a property to create new lots. I will read the land acknowledgement. For City of Toronto, we acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anasazi, the Chippewa, and the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples. It is now home to many diverse nations, Inuit, Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississauga of the Credit. And now I will read out the procedure of our meeting. Committee of Adjustment public hearings are now conducted in a hybrid in-person and virtual format. Some applicants and participants will make their submission in person, and others participate virtually by electronic means through WebEx, an online digital platform. The meetings are also streamed on the City of Toronto Planning YouTube channel, and anyone wishing to view the hearing may watch on YouTube. Those who want to participate virtually and have registered in advance to be connecting with the computer, tablet, smartphone, or telephone, and have the options of participating via video or audio only. All virtual participants will automatically be muted on entry. When your item is called, you will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. We ask that you also mute your devices until you're called to speak. Those participating by the video appearances will be temporarily upgraded to panelists when your item is being held. During this time, your camera will be enabled, and you will only be visible during your 5-minute allotted speaking time. At all other times, your video will be disabled, and you will be restated as an attendee. For both in-person or virtual participants, Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with the written submission deadline. Those participating through WebEx are not allowed to use share screen or any other panelist control during appearance. The host will remove you from the panelist role if you fail to respect this instruction. How to receive a copy of decision of committee is people attending in person today who want to receive a copy of the decision of committee on an application must fill out a decision request card. I think that is probably on one of these tables. And those participating virtually need to submit a written request for decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, and email address because the Committee of Adjustment and the Toronto Local Appeal TLAP will be sending notification and appeal updates by email. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, you might be able to appeal the decision to the TLAP or in some limited circumstances to the online tribunal. However, the provincial government amended the Planning Act and generally removed rights of third parties to appeal a Committee of Adjustment decision. Only the applicant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, specified people and public body, as those terms are defined in the Planning Act, are permitted to appeal decision of the Committee of Adjustment. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the decision of the committee. And then the hearing procedure I will, for the procedure of this meeting, I will call each item in order listed on our agenda. And then if you're making, how you make your submission, when an applicant is uncontested, the agent or applicant may proceed with the presentation. If desired, when the committee does not require presentation, applicants are to advise the chair should they wish to speak to the committee. The committee may ask questions or take the matter into committee for a decision. Each speaker, including the applicant or agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when you're reaching the 5 minutes. Any presentation or other material wished to submit to the committee must have email in advance of the hearing. Staff and committee members cannot accept material at the hearing. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address. Please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee on the application. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to proposal at the hearing day. The committee may decide to defer the application if substantially revised to ensure that the revised application is accurate and that all entitled to notice of the application are informed of the changes. Then individuals either in support or opposed to the application will be invited to speak. Generally, we first call on speakers in hearing room, and then the participating through WebEx, those participating through WebEx. Committee member may ask questions of each speaker after they have finished the presentation. When all speakers are finished, the applicant or agent has an opportunity to rebut only those issues that were raised by the speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion. The applicant will then be taken into committee for a decision. And at this now, we have some just administrative business. Is there some minutes to be confirmed or to be adopted? Yeah.
Good morning, Madam Chair and panel members. Yes, we do have minutes from our November 29th, 2023 hearing, as well as our December 6th, 2023 hearing, but it's panel A only for adoption.
No A. Minute. So do we need one motion only? Yeah.
Yes, we can use one motion.
Yeah, and yeah, Ms. Fake, anyone second? All in favor? Yeah. Didn't vote. All in favor? Yes.
Through you, Madam Chair, we don't see any files that need to be closed or withdrawn for today's hearing. I do have another motion regarding absences that I would need the committee to move on so that the Toronto East York panel of the Committee of Adjustment does not excuse any absences from the December 13th, 2023 Committee of Adjustment meeting.
Okay. And anyone second the motion? A second by Ms. Fake. All in favor? All in favor. Yeah. And if, first of all, I think I forgot to ask, there any conflict of interest from the staff and from the panelists, from the panel? Any
Nope.
No conflict of interest declared. Okay. And also, are there any closing files? Yeah.
Through you, Madam Chair, no files that I see to have closed or withdrawn from this morning's items. We do have one item for deferral. It's item number 8, 34 Westminster Avenue. Notices didn't get mailed out in time.
Okay, notice.
And so we have scheduled this for our January hearing.
Anyway, so are we going to deal with it first because since it's an automatic deferral? So
I think we can, yes.
yeah. So is there a speaker going to speak for that, or?
So we do have the agent online.
Yeah.
We can unmute them for item number 8.
For item number 8.
We're just getting them on the line. Just give us 1 second.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. This is Brenda Eisen. I'm the agent for the applicant at 34 Westminster, and my address is 91 Tychos Drive in Toronto.
Yes, good morning. We understand you're asking for deferral for this item.
Yes, that's correct. Last week, we received an email from city staff informing us that there was an issue in the mailroom and that due to an internal error, the public notices were not sent out to neighbors with the required amount of advance notice.
Okay, I think there's a very good reason we have to correct that. So thank you. Is there someone will have a motion to defer this item?
I'll bring a motion
I'll move to defer.
Defer.
Ms. Wickens, Mr. Wickens, sorry. Yeah, motion and second by Ms. Fix. All in favor to defer this at a schedule. I think it was your next meeting or something, right? Okay, thank you.
Okay, and that concludes our opening matters, so we can get to item number 1.
Okay, let me get my file here. So. Okay, item number 1, the address is 1141 Bloor Street West and 980 Dufferin Street, and also 90 Croatia Street, Block C, D, E. Committee have received the following communication: copy of the survey, site plan, and a block plan, 5 photographs of trees of the subject property, letter from the agent, and decision number of the site-specific bylaw, arborist report, and arborist for prepared in April 2023, and another arborist report produced dated April 28, and tree preservation prepare April 28, and the presentation material from the agent. And commenting agent, we received email corresponding from community planning, and also a staff report from the community planning received December 6th. So we are ready for the agent.
Through you, Madam Chair, we do have the agent here in person today and no registered speakers.
No
for this
registered
item.
speaking, okay. Let's bring the agent, I think it's Ms. Williams, Mr. Williams, sorry.
Good morning, Madam Chair.
Oh, hi. Good
Panel
morning.
members. My name is Matthew Schuman. I am solicitor to the applicant. My address is 66 Wellington Street West, Suite 5300, Toronto. Excuse me. As you heard, Madam Chair, some of these items are from this spring. This application was originally submitted back in March. Since that time, we've been working with planning staff to revise the variances, which resulted in the notice and list of 5 variances you have in front of you. These are primarily technical variances to change timing provisions in the bylaw for the delivery of infrastructure. There's a new public street and public park in this development. And so they will still be delivered during construction before there are any residents moving in. And I'm happy to run through them or run through this presentation or to answer any questions of the committee.
Maybe I'm going to check with the panel whether they require a long presentation or a very brief one. Do you require, sorry, I should move this out of the way so I can see you. Anyone wants a presentation?
No.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into, Dylan, you have questions?
No,
Okay.
I don't need a presentation.
So you're ready for questions? Yeah, please, any question, Ms. Fix? Go ahead.
Questions for me.
No questions, Fix. Oh, that's, you don't want, actually, I do have very small questions. There are two. The first one is, this already, people started to move in? This is some, you already applied?
No, this is a site under construction, Madam Chair.
Yes, and also, the staff report have 3 conditions. You are aware of those 3 conditions?
Yes, I believe there are only,
Yes.
yes, I'm aware the applicant has no concerns. And with respect to the first condition, there is a motion going to council this morning. It is item MM 13.7.
Okay, so we are going to just include those as our decision, a final decision. So, okay, that's my questions. Any other people wants to? Okay, so a motion, please, or discussion. Let's get into, we are in committee now. Let's have some comments or discussion.
I'm prepared
Motion?
to make a motion,
Yeah, okay.
or I feel we should accept these. I think they're matters dealing mainly with timing and the phasing of the construction. And I agree, obviously, we accept pending the 3 conditions from city planning.
Yes, I agree with you, because I think that they're basically very technical, and they have gone through extensive working period with the city. I do not see that this is any, it create any negative impact. Okay, second to that motion, Mr. Venkats, and all in favor? All in favor, yeah, and with conditions, we're planning conditions.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's approved. Sorry. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Second items. Second item is 951 Austin Avenue. We received a copy of a survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevation, a cover letter from the agent, from the agent architect, and corresponding support from Manchester Avenue, 46 Manchester Avenue. And that's all we have received, and we are ready for the applicant. Please.
Through you, Madam Chair, we do have the applicants here in person today and no
Yes.
registered speakers for this item.
Oh, great. Yes, so welcome. Please state your name and address. Yeah.
Morning, Madam Speaker.
Yes.
Thank you for this. My name is Stephen McDonnell. I live at 64 Solly Drive in Toronto. I am the applicant.
Yes.
And
My name is Daniel Gato. I'm an architect, Gato Architects. The address is 178 Albert Street in Coburg.
Thank you. And I think this is quite a straightforward application. I will check with my panel whether they require a presentation from you, or we go straight to questions. Okay, any question or any, we require any, no one seems to need a presentation. And other questions? Not even a questions. So we are ready to get into committee and make a decision. Do you have anything you want to address us before we go and do that?
no, we think everything was in the application, and we're just here to answer questions.
Yes. Okay, we are in committee now. What do you think? I think this is a, you want to address, you have something to address the panel? Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I really think this is an excellent proposal.
Yes.
It's great to actually be integrating offices onto what's effectively a main street, and integrating offices near housing and near sustainable commuting, transportation, transit, and bike routes. And I think something like this may be on the works already for the cities looking at things like this. So I think this, in a few years, this might not even need a variance. So I want to make a motion to approve this variance.
Anyone second to that? And then, yeah.
I'll second that, and just mention that I thought the application was really good. It was very clear and it explained, you know, why in that stretch of Ossington, an office is appropriate, so I'll second the motion.
Okay, you second. Yeah, yeah. Oh, who second? I think that Dylan, you? Okay, second.
I moved the motion.
Yeah, I thought that's what I thought Dylan have a motion. So next item, I'm going to let you make a motion. No, I agree with your comment. I think this area is going through very drastic changes, and also I like the area very much. A mix of many different functions. Nature of the business, restaurants, fashions, everything is going on there. So I think it's a very appropriate application. And all in favor? All in favor, unanimously, it's approved. Yeah. Okay, item number 3 is 126 Spruce Street. The committee has received a site plan, survey, floor plans and elevation, and a letter from the agent, arborist report, and also tree protection plan. Commenting agency, we have an email from the Transportation Engineering Development Planning, and also a staff report from from Urban Forestry, and also Development Planning Review Area Transportation. Support, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 addresses on Spruce Street, and also three addresses from Geneva Avenue. And we are ready for the agent.
Through you, Madam Chair, we do have the agent online and no registered speakers for this item.
Okay. I believe it's Mr. Goldman.
Good afternoon, Chair, members of the committee. My name is Barry Goldman. I'm the agent and architect for this proposal. My address is 321 Carlaw Avenue, Suite 203. I'm happy to make a presentation if you like, or answer any questions if you prefer.
Okay, let me check.
The
Yes.
proposal.
Thank you very
Carry
much.
on, please.
Yes. Thank you very much. I'm going to check with the panel whether anyone wants a presentation first. Anyone wants a presentation? Because we actually have studied all the material that we receive. So they do not need a presentation. We might
do
just
have a
go into
question.
questions, yeah. Any questions, please?
Yeah, so I just wanted to clarify, my understanding is that it's a one-car garage plus a kind of a workspace. I was just wondering why the driveway is so wide if it's just going to be for one car.
The intention is to occasionally admit a second car. Typically, this would be in a holiday periods, like when families staying over for Christmas. The owner could move his table, saw, and so forth out of the way and park a second car diagonally. And also just to facilitate loading, because it is going to be a little hobby workshop.
Okay, thank you.
Actually, I do have a question. I'm not too sure whether you can improve it. It seems that your variance number 1, the soft landscaping, to me is a little bit low. Is it because you can't increase it?
Yes, Chair. We essentially put a parking structure, the garage, over what's currently a gravel parking area at the rear of the lot. And as you can see, any other space that's available to us, we have put soft landscaping where possible, or where people are going to walk. We're proposing to install permeable paving. So there's really, and we limited the permeable paving to the absolute minimum we could, and still have a hard walking surface where people are realistically going to walk.
Yeah.
So I'd suggest that we couldn't add any more soft to this.
Yeah, that's my note too. I actually look at the site plan very carefully, try to see whether there's some change can be made to increase it. Thank you for explaining to me. The second question, I think, is one of the staff report asks us to impose a condition to not allow the space turn into a habitable space.
We have no objection with that condition. It's not intended to be a dwelling unit.
Yes, so thank you. That's all my questions. Any other people have questions? No. So
Just to clarify, so the soft landscaping amount is basically an existing condition, is that correct?
Yes, that is. We added slightly to the soft landscaping that's on the area, other than, of course, where the garage itself is going. We added as much as we could. We removed some of the existing hardscape, and any hardscape that's going to remain will replace with permeable in order to mitigate the water issue.
Great, thank you very much.
And I do believe there's a forestry condition 2 on this file. Yeah. Yeah. So any other questions, please? Okay. We do not have any more questions for you. We move this into committee now. Comments, motions, discussion, please. I can start, and I think this is a very good improvement for the property, and I think that it's still moderates what they're asking for. Is because we traditionally we do use garage space for doing work and all that, hobbies and stuff.
Yeah, great.
So any motion?
Yeah, I'll move to accept this proposal. I find the variances are minor. I think that the owner's taken steps to mitigate the impact with water by using the permeable pavers. So I think it meets the 4 tests.
Yeah, it meets 4 tests. Anyone second to that motion?
I'll second.
Ms. Fick second. I can't see Dylan. Yeah, okay.
And I should have said subject to the forestry condition 2.
And also the planning conditions for
Was
it
there a
not.
planning condition?
I don't believe there was a planning
No,
condition.
there's
For
not-
you, Madam Chair, I
not
don't
for this
see any
one.
planning conditions. I just see the urban forestry condition number 2.
I thought
There was
that
a transportation report and then an email, but no conditions.
no condition. Okay. I think maybe I make mistake on that one. Okay, so no planning conditions. That's the.
Madam Chair, you did see that, but it was in the cover letter of the applicant where he mentions the existing dwelling on the property will remain as is and is not included. So I beg your pardon, I read the wrong sentence. He does say that it's going to be a hobby workshop.
Yes. And I did read some kind of request, maybe on email or something, but we can, as a panel, we can put that condition on, actually, because it's what they have proposed anyway. They're not turning it into a habitable or rental unit or anything. So I will prefer to put that condition on, in as the decision.
Okay.
So with
I think that makes sense. So I'll amend my motion to approve, subject to the forestry condition and the condition that we discussed with the applicant, which is that the garage workshop not be used for habitation.
Okay, all in favor? Approve unanimously with the conditions. Approve. Now I'd like to take 1 minute break because I do have some problem with my Adobe here. Could I rest? Can I someone help? Yeah, help me. Sorry. got that fixed, okay. Item number 4, I think we have item number 4. Address is number 10 Doris Drive. Committee have received a survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, and a photograph of the tree on the property, and 3 photographs of the existing garage, and also an order to comply issue, I think 2003.
Through you, Madam Chair, this application is to legalize and maintain the one-story ancillary building, which is a detached garage with storage in the rear yard, which was constructed without authorized building permit. We do have the agent online, and I don't see any registered speakers for this item.
Yes, thank you, Deputy Secretary Treasurer, because I have lost my page, so I haven't read out the purpose of those applications. I'm sorry. I will do that from now on. Okay, thank you. Let's have the agent then. Yeah.
Trevor, you've been...
Yeah, good morning, Madam Chair. My name is Trevor Gain. I'm the agent and designer on this application.
Yeah. Okay, I think this, I'm going to check with my panel whether they require a presentation. I think we have studied all the material and whether, yeah.
I
Anyone?
do not require a presentation.
Yeah. How about Dylan?
No.
Ms. Wiggins? Yeah. Yeah.
No, I don't require a presentation. I'm happy to move a motion.
Yeah. Do you have any questions first? Yeah. No question. Okay. We do not have any question either. Do you have anything you want to address the panel before we get into the committee for discussion? Yeah.
Not really. It's fairly straightforward. It's extremely minor, 2 variances all within a percentage. It was supposed to be an as-of-right garage, but they just missed the mark by a percentage or 2, and here we are. So we're just trying to clean it all up.
Okay. Yeah. I think, okay. We are in committee now. Thank you very much. Yeah. So any comment, motion, or discussion, please? Yeah. Any motion?
I'll make a motion. I think numerically, the variances are very trivial, and I can't imagine them having any impact adverse. So I make a motion to approve.
There are no other.
I'll second it.
Yeah. Mr. Reed, second.
I'll second it.
Yeah. All in favor? All in favor. Yeah. Approved unanimously. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, item number 5, 156 Maria Street. Okay, so for this application, the purpose is to convert the existing 2.5-story, 2-unit semi-detached dwelling into a triplex by constructing a new third dwelling unit in the basement and a third-story dormer addition and a rear deck on the roof of the second story below. Also to convert the existing 1-story detached garage into a garden suite in the rear of the yard of the triplex, and will be a total of 4 units on this property. They are asking for 4 variances. Any speaker other than the agent?
Through you, Madam Chair, we do have the agent here in person, and we do have one person on the line with some concern.
Okay, thank you. And for this file, we also receive a plans, site plan, floor plan, elevations, and 8 photographs of the site condition and supporting material from the agent. We have also from Metrolink, there's some comments came from Metrolink. Yes, so let's have the agent, please. Oh, he's in person. Please, go ahead, yeah.
And the main, the gardens. Although the
sorry, I can't hear.
Can you push the button in front of you? Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. So again, the rear garden suite, although it is facilitated through a private driveway that facilitates 160, 62, 64, 66, and 68 garages through that private driveway. But again, it's not assumed by the city and not recognized under zoning bylaw. So our application is pretty well straightforward. Aside from the report, if there's any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
I have one. So
Yep.
this is a private laneway. Is it surface, or do you rely it for your garden suite to bring surfaces in?
It is maintained by all the owners that use that lane,
Yeah, I
but it's not assumed by the city,
yeah, and all the garbage and cleanup is all maintained by.
all maintained independently.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions to this speaker, to the agent? Yeah. So we don't have any more questions. We are ready to.
Through you, Madam Chair, we do have one person online in
Oh, okay.
concern.
I'm so sorry. Yeah,
So we'll just get them to
you can wait.
unmuted.
Please, yeah.
Chris, you've been unmuted.
Okay. See me? Thank you. Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is Chris Hughes. My wife and I live at 162 Mariah Street. I would like to start off by saying we do not oppose the renovation or minor variance of 156 Mariah. We believe the renovation and additional housing benefits the city, the street, and updates what was previously a home that was falling apart. Our concern is with the laneway, which has an existing right-of-way. We use this laneway to access our parking area behind our home, as do other homeowners. I've tried to communicate with the owner that the laneway is an active laneway and cannot be blocked. The owner has mentioned many times that we should not be able to park behind our home and that she owns the laneway. I believe the access was not clearly explained to her at the time of purchase. The owner would also like to build a fence against the CN rail fence, which would also inhibit us from accessing our parking area. The lane is used by 5 property owners and has been for several decades without issue. The owner allows her construction crews to park in the lane, blocking us and neighbors several times a week. We have asked that we be informed if the lane will be blocked so we can move our cars to the street the night before, yet we are met with zero consideration. As we have every legal right to pass over this laneway without issue, we have asked for consideration, but to no avail, we still have to ask contractors to move when we want to enter or exit the laneway. We understand the construction crews need to park somewhere, but the property already has parking for 2 cars that are not being utilized. The laneway needs to remain open for all of us to exit now and for when the home is complete. With 4 units now going in this home and only 2 parking spots in the plans, we worry that access to our parking area will continually be blocked when tenants without parking or guests visit and decide the lane is easier to park in than parking on the street. We also have concerns that if we should have an emergency, how do we exit our property should this laneway be blocked? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Just before you comment on that, usually we'll let you comment on that, but I would like to say something about the private arrangement and the private laneway, and I do not think the committee has a mandate to even comment on that or sort those things out. I trust this laneway been used for so many years and as a private laneway, and it will be continued the same way, and I trust that everybody will work together to make it work. Any construction issue, also the committee is not able to comment. So if you're going to make any comments, can you please focus on the planning issues here? Thank you.
I think I should clarify that my client did purchase this property. The issue of the lane is actually in court.
That's what I'm trying to say.
It is in court. There's misrepresentation by the agent who sold the property. We're dealing with that. I sympathize with the vehicles that are parked, but it's not, it's a 12-foot lane. So it's not that a vehicle will obstruct the flow. And I think your vehicle is a Volkswagen?
I'm so sorry,
sorry.
Mr. Gain. I'm so sorry, I just mentioned that
Okay,
this is really
not a
beyond
problem.
the committee's mandate.
Unfortunately, I can't control.
Yeah, so let's move on. If you have any comment you want to make on the planning issues
I
and
think
on the
it's-
variances, you seek.
Minor in nature.
Yeah.
General intent of the zoning bylaw and official plan are also maintained. It's in a residential area that facilitates the whole area, basically.
Yes, and I just also encourage that you will continue in good faith, working with everybody during construction and after construction. And that's all I can advise. Yeah.
For clarification, Madam, construction is internal, not external. The only external renovation would be over the garage to build the suite. So, again, I sympathize with him, but I have no control over that.
Yes, thank you. All right, so any questions on the variances? Okay, we do not have any more questions. Now we move into discussion. Any comment, motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
Yeah, Mr. Weed.
Yeah, so the variance is actually quite minor, and this is definitely desirable, adding additional units, rental units to the city's housing. Really, it looks like a very well thought out improvement to the property. So I want to move approval of these variances.
Okay, there's one question about the Metrolink comments. Do we need to include? No, it's only an advisory comment. Okay, no, we do not need to include that. So, anyone second to that motion? Yeah, Mr. Wilkins, I'm sorry. Second, yes. All in favor? All in favor, 4-0. Thank you. Yeah. Approve unanimously.
Thank you,
Thank you
Madam
very
Chairman.
much.
Thank you, members.
Yeah. Well, item number 6 is 744 Dufferin Street. And that's what it said. The 744 Dufferin Street, the purpose for this application is to alter the existing 2.5-story semi-detached dwelling by constructing and extending the rear second-story addition, and to construct a 2-story front addition, a ground floor front veranda and stairs, as well as new front basement patio and walkout. Also to construct a new detached auxiliary building, which is a garage in the rear yard, abutting the laneway. The basement will be converted into a secondary suite, and the existing garage in the rear yard will be demolished. They are asking for one variance. Yeah, and here also we have received a survey, site plan, elevations, and floor plans, one photograph of the trees, and also communication from transportation engineering, and also a staff report from urban forestry.
Through you, Madam Chair, we do have the agent online. We don't have any registered speakers for this item. The agent will be requesting a deferral because the sign was not posted in time.
Oh, it's the same, it didn't come up earlier, right? So
We didn't get a formal request, but the agent will now speak to the deferral request for
yeah, please, can we have the agent?
Graham, you've been unmuted.
Mr. Barrett.
Graham, can you please try to unmute yourself? I will try to reach you by phone, Graham. Please hold the line.
So we hold it down, or so we wait, give you another 30 seconds?
Through you, Madam Chair, we're just trying to reach Graham by phone.
Okay. Maybe he thought he sent an email and he didn't need to get to.
Graham, can you please try to speak?
Oh, okay, we got you, Mr. Grant, Mr. Barrett. You're asking for a deferral.
Good. Yes, you can hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, excellent. Not sure what was happening there. I could hear you clearly. Yes, Graham Barrett, SGL Planning and Design, 1547 Bloor Street West, agent for the applicant. Yes, that's correct. We are requesting a deferral for this application because the sign wasn't posted in time. Should also be noted there's an error on the public notice about a new garage being constructed where none is proposed. So we're going to get that sorted out and get a revised sign posted on time, and we will see you in the new year
Okay.
if the deferral request is granted.
Yes, thank you. That's a good question. Good reason. Okay, thank you. We can move that in committee to make a decision now. Okay, let's have a motion.
I move that we see this applicant in next year.
Okay.
We accept his deferral request.
Yes, anyone second? Yeah, Mr. Wilkins, and second? And all in favor? All in favor to defer this case. Thank you. Okay, the next item is item number 7. The address is 203 Jarvis Street. The purpose for this application is to alter the development standards of a 32-story mixed-use building, and they are working through with a site plan, with a site-specific bylaw, and by reducing the width of bicycle spaces. This is the only variance they're asking for. And we have received a copy of surveys, floor plan, and elevations photographs of the property, and cover letter from the agent, presentation material, and the site-specific bylaw. And communication we received from Metrolink and also from transportation. Oh, that transportation withdraw their comment. Yes, there's no, we've seen their comment. So,
Through you, Madam Chair, we do have the agent online and no registered speakers for this item.
okay, thank you. We are ready for Mr. Barrett, but different first name.
Good morning, Madam Chair. My name's Megan Barrett, no relation to the previous Mr. Barrett. I'm a lawyer at Airden Burles, and our firm address is 181 Bay Street, Suite 1800.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Barrett, we have read your material. I think this is quite a straightforward application because I've seen the new system seem to be saving some space. So I'm going to check with the panel whether they need a presentation from you or question for you. Any question? And no, we don't need a presentation, no question. So we are ready to make a decision. You want to address, you have anything to address us first?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Not really. I agree with you. This is a very straightforward application. It's a different system that my client's proposing to use to address an issue that arose during construction. It's just a different type of bicycle parking system, and it's detailed in the materials that we filed. There are no objections from planning, from transportation, or from Metrolinx, and no conditions are proposed. And in my submission, the application meets the 4 tests.
Thank you very much. Okay, any motion on the floor?
Yeah, I move we accept this application as the variance is quite minor. Very
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Second? Ms. Wilkins, all in favor? All in favor, approved. Thank you very much, Ms. Barrett. Yeah. Okay, then, the next item is 34 Westminster
Through you, Madam
Avenue.
Chair, this one has been deferred.
Okay, yeah,
So we
sorry.
can move on to item number 9.
Yes, yes, a big word deferral, I did not read. Item number 9, 18 Kennedy Avenue. This application, the purpose is to alter the existing 2-story semi-detached dwelling by constructing a rear second-story addition. They are asking for 2 variances. Here, we also receive a survey site plan, floor plan, elevations, and inventory of inventory protection plan, I guess, by a protection plan of trees. Okay, and commenting, we have a comment we received from Urban Forestry.
Through you, Madam Chair, we do have the agent here in person, and we do have 1 person in opposition
Okay, you do
attending
have-
in person.
yeah. So you do have a present, okay, please come up, yes. Yeah.
My name is Belinda Jones. I'm the architect agent. My address is 159 Martin Street in Milton, and I'm happy to do a presentation.
Yes, I think so, because you do have a position. You can give us a brief 5-minute presentation, maximum 5 minutes, yeah.
Okay. So the 2, it's an addition to the second story. It's just to extend the size of the bedroom.
Can you, maybe you should press the button on your mic, because we cannot hear you too. Oh, okay.
Should I try that one?
Just be closer.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes,
That
better.
Okay.
Better.
So it is an addition to the second story to extend the size of the bedroom on the second story. The 2 variances are minor, to extend the building length from 14 meters to 15.54, and to increase the floor space index from 0.6 to 0.91. The variances being requested are in actual fact to a large extent to legalize the existing length and some of the floor space index. It's a semi-detached home that forms part of row houses. There's 6 row houses in all. It's the one on the north. And it would appear that an extension to all 6 of the kitchens of those almost identical row houses, they were constructed in the past prior to the current owner purchasing the property. So it would be to legalize that additional space and then just to add some additional floor space on the second floor. At least one of the other row houses has done a similar thing. The additional area that's been proposed on the second floor is 7.82 square meters, so fairly minor. Thank you.
So can I ask a question? So what is the existing FSI or area? Yeah.
So the existing is 140.89, and we are requesting to go to 148.71.
Oh, okay, thank you very much. Just where mine is. So, okay, thank you. Let's, maybe, I'm so sorry, I should hold my question too. Maybe we should listen to the opposition and then we go for questions. The opposition is in person?
Yes, so Nicholas Singh.
Oh my God.
Please.
Good morning. My name is Nicholas Singh, Swansea Area Ratepayers Association. In accordance with the Statutory Powers Procedure Act rules and Rule 7.7 of the committee's rules of procedure, we are, as always, requesting that the committee's decision and reasons for the decision be provided in writing. I do have a couple questions about the application. Will this be the largest townhouse in the block?
Excuse me, you can ask questions through me, but
Okay,
ask your
Madam Chair,
questions,
through
and then
you.
later on we will get the applicant will have a chance to respond. Okay, just ask the question to us.
That process means that I won't have a chance to respond to the answer or understand what the answer is in relationship to the application.
So ask your question clearly, and we try our best to. I mean, the applicant's here, so you can hear your questions too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So please go ahead. You have 5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, so will this be the largest townhouse on the block?
Mm-hmm.
If it is,
Okay.
it means something.
Okay.
If it isn't,
You will respond. Let's go have the second question then, or some. Yeah.
okay. It was mentioned that there would be, there is one that has something similar, so the question is how many are similar and how does it actually compare?
Okay.
And do you have any evidence to show that the application meets the requirements of the official plan? Okay, so the applicant is asking to increase the depth of the second story to 15.44 and for an additional boost to the FSI to 0.81. This will give the townhouse possibly the deepest second floor and the highest FSI in this block of townhouses. So based on the assumptions that we now have to make, since I don't have answers to my questions, the applicant is asking to alter the physical character of these townhouses with these two variances. This is contrary to the stated intention and purpose of the official plan, Chapter 4, and the intent and purpose of the bylaws, which stipulate the maximums for the FSI and depth, which have already been exceeded, as you know. They're now trying to be legalized. Please note that there is a zoning pattern in Swansea. Properties that are zoned where lots frontages are 9 meters or more are zoned at 0.35 FSI. This is to provide a uniform ratio of density and landscaping. Properties zoned at 9 meters or less are zoned at 0.6. The purpose of this and the intent is to allow smaller properties more living space while at the same time ensuring that there is some landscaping on each property. This is in line with the city's push for diversity and affordability. This property is zoned at 0.6 and has already received the consideration for more living space above 0.6. It's now at 0.86, which is approaching the 1 times coverage for apartment zones in Swansea. So an FSI of 0.91 does not respect the intent or purpose of the bylaw or the official plan. So we recognize that as per the official plan, Section 45 of the Planning Act, the applicant has the opportunity to demonstrate how the requested variances respect and reinforce the existing physical character of the neighborhood. We submit that making a claim is different from providing or proving a claim, and in this case, the applicant has not presented sufficient or any evidence, as far as we can tell, to support the claim that the variances meet the tests for the official plan and the zoning bylaws. We point out that pointing to 1 or 2 more Committee of Adjustment approvals does not demonstrate the character or of the context of the subject property and is not sufficient for the intent and purpose of the official plan. The ratepayers is submitting to this committee that, as stated in the public notice regarding the matter, the committee must apply the tests for both the official plan and the zoning bylaws to ensure that the intent and purpose of both are maintained. We submit that this committee is, that the proposed variances do not maintain the FSI or building depth that comprise the existing physical characteristics of this set of townhouses. This application will raise the bar for these characteristics, The numbers speak for themselves, and as such, they do not pass the test for the official plan or the zoning bylaws. So as per Section 45 of the Planning Act, committee cannot approve the application to vary the bylaws unless the criteria have been followed and the intent and official plan and bylaws have been maintained. We submit that the application should be refused. So thank you for your attention. Yeah, I'd like to advise that if the applicant attempts to provide new evidence in rebuttal, I will be objecting to that. And as we go into the Christmas break, peace and best wishes for the new year.
Thank you so much. Yes, the applicant will respond to all the comments that you raised. Yeah, please, you will have 5 minutes to respond.
Through you, Madam Chair, are there any questions for this speaker?
Oh, yeah, I thought we can ask this thing. Yeah. Okay, there are no questions for this speaker, but the applicant now, you're welcome to respond to this speaker's comments.
So in answer to your first question, which was whether there is another townhouse that has had the similar proposal, I believe number 38, which is a similar development further up Kennedy, has... Sorry. Okay. In answer to the first question, number 38 Kennedy, which is a part of a similar row house development, has a similar extension to its second story. There is no proposed change to the streetscape, and we believe the character is being maintained. Just to put it in context, the row houses are very small as far as dwelling units go. You could see by the total floor area, which is less than 141 square meters with this new addition. And also to note that there is no change to the footprint at all. It's just legalizing the footprint that was extended at some point prior to the current owner taking possession of the house.
The last speaker have mentioned the FSI is high. Can you also list some examples? Do you think that is appropriate increase for your house? 0.91 times of the lot.
I don't have the statistics for the entire region, but if you do look on the site plan, you'll see that number 18, the rear yard, the extension to the rear yard is in line with the property to the north, and it projects no further than
with respect
the other row houses.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, it's not your time. You have your 5 minutes. She is answering your question. This is not a back and forth.
Actually, she's not.
I am so sorry, Miss.
I have my questions here. They're not being answered.
I'm so sorry. No, let's not speak. Let me speak. I have explained the rule from the beginning, and also I have told you have a chance, 5 minutes to ask all your questions, and now we're answering your questions. Whether you like the answers is not what we can control, right? Please be quiet, and let the agent finish what she's saying, please.
Okay. So to finish my sentence, I don't have the statistics, but visually, if you look at the row houses from the rear, it projects no further than any of the other houses. There is no additional height to any of the other houses along that row, and the application is simply to increase the size of a bedroom on the second story to be able to fit a bed in, and for the occupant to be able to move around in the bedroom. And the reason for the high floor area is due to the tiny size of the site.
Yes. Okay, thank you. One question to you. You have actually told us the existing area and the increase to it, but do you have translate that into FSI so that it's clear to indicating how much in terms of percentage you're adding? Not just the, not just the area, but the FSI, yeah.
Okay. So the existing FSI is 0.86, and the request is 0.91.
Thank you very much. So it's 5%. Okay. And any questions to both of these speakers from our panel? No. Thank you very much. We finished our questions, and now I move the item into committee, and you will not have any chance to speak anymore. Okay. All right. Thank you. Now we are in committee. Can I start with a couple of comments? I did hear what the opposition said. He did mention about landscaping and all. I just like to remind our panelists that what they're asking for is 2 variances, and landscaping is not one of them. Okay. And we can just focus on the 2 variances that they're asking for.
Yeah, I was going to make the same point. Landscaping is still completely within the zoning rules, and there's still adequate landscaping being provided, so I don't think that's an issue. Also, the variance is clearly very minor, and I think it's actually the intent of the city's current zoning bylaw and the desirable development of this area for very small houses to have a little bit more space so that they can house more people and be a more appealing place to live. This is a very small house. It's very reasonable for it to grow by a very small amount. So I am in favor of this variance.
I sort of agree with that, Mr. Reid, because you look at the 2 variances. The number 1, for example, the depth, as we are told, it is existing footprint, and they do not extend that. So we are looking at number 2, and we are told that the existing FSI is only 5% smaller. So I think I consider this minor. That's my judgment. So.
I'll just make a comment. I took Mr. Singh to be saying that that it's the onus on the applicant to prove the case, and so he was citing that there weren't a lot of studies or other extraneous information to show how this fit within the neighborhood or how this fit with the plan. But in this case, I wasn't persuaded by those submissions because I think that the variances are quite minor, and as we heard, they don't change the front of the house, so it actually doesn't look like it's going to have a lot of impact. And given the size of the variances, I think that it meets the 4 tests.
Yes. So any motion then? Yeah, please.
I would move to approve this. I believe there's 2 conditions from forestry. Perhaps we should pop out of the committee just to ask the agent, is your client aware of the forestry conditions, and do they have any opposition to those?
I'm sorry, I have not seen the conditions. Could you just mention what the forestry's conditions are?
We can ask the staff to bring it up on the screen, but usually they are quite, it's forestry condition 1 and 2, they're quite standard. Conditions like protecting the tree.
Please. Through you, Madam Chair. Condition number 1 is in regards to a permit to injure or remove a city-owned tree, and condition number 2 is to remove or injure a private tree. So just working with urban forestry for permits.
There is no intent to injure or remove any trees.
It's like they put the condition in just in case this will happen. And I think that is like quite a standard procedure. For even building permit, you have to go through committee, urban forestry. Okay, let's have the motion. Mr. Wilkins has a motion to approve with the forestry condition. Anyone second to that motion, please?
I'll second it.
Okay, Mr. Reid second that. All in favor? Approve. All in favor with conditions. Yeah. Okay. Okay, item number 10.
Would you mind if we take a very short?
Okay, yes, there's a request for a 5 minutes rest, break. Thank you. Okay, I go for it. Okay, are we ready? Everybody's here? Okay, I will, for respect for.
Okay, through you, Madam Chair, we can
resume, yeah?
Continue with item number 10.
Okay, let's resume. Item number 10 is 292, 298, Dundas Street West. This application, the purpose is to alter the development standard for a 32-story mixed-use building. And it's got a site-specific bylaw, and to increase the gross floor area, the building height, and the mechanical equipment area, as well as reduce the outdoor amenity space and width of the bicycle parking spaces. They are asking for 16 variances. And here we have received on this file a copy of survey, site plan, floor plan, elevation, revised map, map 3 and diagram 4, cover letter from the agent, arborist report submitted by the agent, planning rationale, and also presentation material, transportation study, study report, and schedule study, site-specific bylaw, there are 2 of them, and also commenting from transportation engineering, and also a staff report from community planning.
Through you, Madam Chair, we do have the agent here in person. We also have the Grange Residents Association here in person to speak in support of the application. We also received a letter yesterday evening from the Grange Community Association supporting the application. And so the presenter can present that on the screen so that you can see that letter, and then we can get to the agent.
Yes, please, yeah. Is Mr. Jogabet? Yes, please.
Morning, Madam Chair, members of committee. Peter Jakovich, I'm a resident at 12 Fabian Place, Toronto. I am a planner with Tribute Communities. Also online to answer any questions is Claire Ricker from Bousfields Inc. She also should be present for Q&A.
Yes. Since you do not have opposition but have support, but I think maybe you can give us a very brief presentation.
Absolutely.
To have just an overall concept of what you're asking for.
Happy to provide. We did have a presentation slide deck that Bousfields put together. It's available in front of you. And in essence, 16 variances really is there's 2 bylaws that we're amending. So there's a duplication that's occurring, right? So it's there's 8 principal variances that can be broken down into 3 specific asks. 1, we are seeking 3 additional floors, an additional height. So I'll provide you the context first. It's the north side of Dundas, between McCall and St. Patrick Street, immediately south of the St. Patrick Church. Next slide, please. The principal variance that we're looking at, when we look at it in terms of a proposal, is 32 stories. So it's an additional 3 stories from the approved 29 stories. Representing an increase in 35 new homes across those three additional floors. No change to the underground, no change to the mixed use proposal that's before us. This is a true mixed use. We have 3 sub-levels of parking. There's a maximum amount of parking here of 51 parking spots. On the podium, we have ground-related 2,000 square feet of retail. We have the church was the vendor, so we purchased it from the Redemptorist to the north. They were replacing approximately 11,000 square feet of non-residential use for the church, be it community purposes and their offices. And then in addition to that, on the second floor, they're occupying the 3rd floor and a portion of the ground. On the second floor, we have a 6,500 72-child public daycare. So that is space that is committed to in our Section 37 agreement that we are going to be conveying to the city for a daycare operation. And then we have our residential lobby, 346 approved units. Subject to this approval, it will increase to 381. Next slide. To the immediate left is a parkland dedication, in addition, that we are going to be providing and is an obligation of our 37. It's 261 square meters, and we are physically going to deliver it. It's currently within the design process with the city for the above base development and delivery, and it's an obligation that we're striving to provide prior to our first occupancy. And next to it is also a 3-meter POPs space that is contiguous with that public realm. Next slide, please. This is a rendering just indicating and showcasing what the additional 3 floors would theoretically look like from a massing point of view. When we look at it in terms of the architectural component, and currently the building's under construction, we are at the 10th floor. Next slide, please. Apologies. So we discussed building height. There are other variances. There's a technical variance for the mechanical equipment on the rooftop, and it was always illustrated. We have 2 pieces of equipment, a generator and a cooling tower, that sit outside of a very defined mechanical penthouse. We have rooftop amenity on that upper floor as well. That was always the case. Through the building permit process, there was an interpretation difference between our code consultant and the zoning examiner that we thought it's just best to clarify and clean up through the purpose of a variance for the change in language. The gross floor area, as a result of the increase, the gross floor area total and the residential gross floor area increase are being requested as well. The outdoor amenity, we've provided as much outdoor amenity as physically as possible. What we are committed to do is providing 3 square meters per dwelling, which is the total indoor-outdoor combined, and that we will meet by providing 100% indoor amenity for the additional 3 floors. So there, it creates an imbalance, whereas the bylaw speaks to 1.5 square meters indoor and 1.5 square meters outdoor. We're seeking a variance on the amenity of 1.34 because of that sort of imbalance with the provision of additional indoor. And then lastly, I guess if we carry on through the slide deck, we can go to slide 9. Parking stalls. We are providing for all short-term and long-term obligations on site for the purpose of efficiency. The long-term bicycle parking.
Time is up, so maybe you can quickly make a summation.
It's the stall width.
Yeah.
So in general, we have a positive planning report that we are fully in agreement with. There is an amendment that we're in agreement with. Planning wanted just clarity on the provision or making sure that the mechanical units are on the west side of the mechanical penthouse, and that's what the amendment's for. And then there is a condition that we're in agreement with, which is a 45.9 contribution.
Okay, thank you. Any questions to the speaker? Thank you.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, Mr. Weed has a question.
Yeah, actually, this may give you a chance to talk about the bike parking a little more. So the short-term bike parking, from the plans I saw, it appears that those are going to be bike rings outside. How many actual rings are you going to provide?
We are going to provide 38. It's 0.1 per unit. We are anticipating 381 units with the adoption or approval of this variance. So there are 38 short-term bicycle parking spaces that are provided. In addition to that, we have committed to providing for bicycle rings at strategic locations in the public realm along the frontage. So we're intending on meeting the short-term parking requirement. The last slide deck, if we can just show the last image, it will be architecturally appealing. I think that there's a tendency to look at, bicycle racks that are sort of less than ideal from an urban design perspective. What we've sourced is, and selected a bicycle ring that provides for some level of architectural articulation. It's not as imposing. Yes, they are external, but they are highly visible and highly accessible.
Okay, so my concern was that with the variance, normally people expect to be able to park 2 bikes to a ring, but with the variance, there's only going to be room for 1 bike per ring. So I wanted to make sure that there's actually going to be 38 rings as opposed to 16, and people expect, or 19 people expect to share. Is that correct?
That is correct. There will be 38.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? I do have one about the outdoor amenity space. I know that in figure you from 1.5 square meter per unit, you're asking for 1.34. This is not an individual outdoor space. This is all combined. And you divide it into number of units, right? So that you're not taking away like a balcony, a smaller balcony. That's what I want to make sure.
The design right now, so our penthouse is 29th floor. The additional 3 floors, normally the way it's slotted is the penthouse moves to the 32nd, and then the 3 additional floors would be right underneath the penthouse suite. We have an architectural set that's before you on the 30th floor. We're providing for the totality of 3 square meters per unit times 35 residential units on the 30th floor. So it's all the residents in the building will have access to the amenity, both in interior, exterior. Outdoor, we have rooftop amenity on the mechanical penthouse level, and our principal amenity, indoor, outdoor, is on the 11th.
Yes. Thank you. That's what I'm concerned if you taking a little bit from each individual. Whether the combine is still, I think, quite a good choice. There's still a good space for whoever wants to use it. Right? Any other questions, please? Yeah.
Through you, Madam Chair, we can hear now from Max Allen.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the committee. I'm Max Allen. I'm the Vice President of the Residents Association, the area of which includes this building. We have worked successfully with the developer from the very beginning of this process, and it has been an entirely satisfactory process as far as we're concerned. In the present case, we believe Tribute's proposed changes fall within the 4 tests for a minor variance, and we urge the committee to approve the application. I want to tell you about 2 aspects of this that we consider particularly important. One is the on-site park dedication. It is usually the case in buildings like this that there's no room for a park dedication on-site. That's not the case here. And that on-site park dedication is part of the new idea of a linear park that runs from this site across Dundas, down St. Patrick, across Michael Sweet, and down Simcoe. Small parks all connected together in a chain, and this is the northern terminus of it. We think the architectural and landscaping design here is a model for how this can be done. In summary, we think the variances asked for, although it looks like a lot, are essentially 2, and that they deserve to be called minor, and we urge you to approve it.
Thank you. Any question to this speaker? I do actually have a question. It's precisely what you have concluded to say that you deem to be minor. It is a good project. I agree with you, but we are focusing on the increase, whether you consider to be minor. You did not actually have a real reason. It's only to say that it's deemed to be minor. I just like to know whether you have a more detail or reason. You think that is minor? Yeah.
Yes. The thing that doesn't look minor to my eyes in the drawings is the shadow studies. Because the building is higher by 3 stories, it casts a different kind of shadow than the original proposal. But that shadow is very fast moving. And besides, in Toronto, at this time of year particularly, the sky is not blue. The sky is white because there's cloud cover everywhere. We did studies, excuse me, on 170 Spadina to see what the shadowing actually looked like when you went outside and looked at it and took pictures of it. And the same case applies here. The shadow moves quickly, and very often there's nothing that you'd call a real shadow at all, because the sunlight is ambient rather than works like a searchlight, where it casts that kind of solid shadow. So that, excuse me, that consideration of what kind of shadowing occurs on the people who live near it is one of the things that we always look at. And in this case, we think, you have the decision-making power, but we think that is a minor problem, not a major one.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a good specific reason. Thank you. That's what I was asking you, so some specific reason why you think it's minor. Okay, any other panelists have any questions, please? No. So we do not have any questions. I move this into committee for discussion. I can start with some. When I look at the figures, it seems that they're asking for 35 more units, and it's sort of, from the figure, to me, in the first look, I thought, and also like 8.2% increase in GFA. And I thought, I'm not too sure that is minor. But when I listened to the deputy, and also the next thing, then I move into whether the impact is minor, not the figure. So I can see that the community have no opposition, and they do have a support, and I do accept that the sun shadow is always impact created by tall buildings. So he actually explained that, and I tend to agree to that explanation, and that's all my comments, and then I will listen to other people's comments.
I've got just a couple comments.
Mr. Weed, please, go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, I think the support of the Local Residents Association is really significant. I think that means the developer's been working in good faith with the city and the Local Residents Association, and if they're agreeable to it, I think that is an indication that the impact of this building is minor. Secondly, I'm a little leery of the reduction in bike spaces, or in space for bikes, but I think that they have provided some explanation for how that will work, so I can accept that.
So, and I also can add in terms of impact. I walk through that building construction site now every day to go to work. So the church is right to the north. In terms of shadow, usually if it's another tall residential apartment, then they probably will be more impacted. In this case, it's not the immediate property is the church. I assume that not will affect too many windows or anything. So
I just wanted to note that there is a planning staff report that asks for revisions to the variances and for clarification purposes.
Can you maybe the staff can bring that out. Is there a planning report asking for revisions?
Through you, Madam Chair, yes, the presenter will present that on the screen now. There is a planning staff report dated December the 6th.
I guess we can get out from the committee and ask the applicant is aware of that and then agree to them. Yeah, he is agreeable. Okay, yeah. So any other questions? Do we have a motion on the floor?
So through you, Madam Chair, then variances number 5, 6, 13, and 14 will be amended as per the planning report.
Yes.
Okay. And then there are
There's 3
also
conditions.
conditions
Yes.
from planning.
Yes, I have the same notes here. Okay, motion, please.
Well, I move that we do support this, accept this application, and with the proviso as set out in the city planning staff report, both with respect to the clarifications and the conditions.
Yes. A second, please. Mr. Wilkins, second. All in favor? Unanimously approved with the condition, planning conditions. Thank you very much for coming. Bye. Yeah.
As amended.
As amended, we have amended something? I'm sorry.
Through you, Madam Chair, the approval is as amended for the variances.
Yes.
That have been amended.
Yes. Oh, yes, that will, after the revisions, they will. Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's a good thing. Okay, next item, number 11. Is the address is 206 and 208 Barrett Avenue. The purpose for this application is to construct a new 4-story detached apartment with front and rear balconies on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th story, as well as 2 parking spaces in the rear yard. And there will be a total of 8 units and on this lot, and the existing building will be demolished. They are asking for 6 variances. And on this item, we have received a copy of the survey, site plan, floor plan elevations, and a cover letter from the agent decision affecting the subject property. And commenting from community planning and also the oppositions from Hallam Street and that's the only from Hallam Street.
Through you, Madam Chair, we do have the agent here in person.
Yes.
And we also have 2 speakers in opposition in person.
Okay.
So we'll hear from the agent.
Yes. Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Madam Chair. Hello, my name is Greg Ewens from Patori Planning and Management. Office address is 1550 Suite 4, Kingston Road, Pickering, Ontario. Land use planning in Ontario is intended to be an iterative process. And in my view, the application before you reflects that intent. We're here before you the second time, having made changes to the project in response to neighbor, city, staff, and committee comments on the previous application, which was refused earlier this year. We're requesting a series of variances to permit a 4-story, 8-unit building. Some of the main changes from the previous plan are significantly increased green space areas, the addition of 2 new trees. We've retained the interior bike parking spaces and bike repair station. We've reduced the units from 10 down to 8 with larger units than the previous plan. And there's an addition of a 4th story, which is within the height limit of the bylaw. We've worked with city planning staff to address their concerns, as shown in the report they've written in support of the proposed development. We are satisfied with the condition that report contains. We have contacted the immediate neighbors to the west and to the south, and we'd have very positive dialogue with the owner to the south on fencing, landscaping, and other matters. Though we contacted the owner to the west, we didn't receive a reply, but we have read their letter to the committee, and we'd be happy to work with them on putting up a 7-foot fence to the west of the property. With regard to the variances, we're seeking a depth variance up to 15.96 meters. This results partly from the inclusion of an elevator within the building going up to the 4th floor. I note that this building is less less deep than the permitted 17-meter depth for a fourplex, and it does not result in a building that is deeper than the prevailing building stock along the street, specifically south along Bartlett. It's been designed to match the rear setback of the neighbor. It also meets the 7.5-meter setback in the bylaw. We have a floor space index variance as well, and about that I'll say that the city's recent multiplex bylaw removes FSI as a criteria for buildings with up to 4 units. And they're also proposing to remove FSI from major street neighborhood development as well. As shown on page 14 of the report, which was submitted, it's the letter from the agent, I've shown what an as-of-right multiplex would look like on this site and what the proposed development would look like in terms of form. That's page 14, sorry, it's a long letter. There it is. So at the top there is what we're proposing. At the bottom is an as-of-right envelope for a multiplex on the site. I note that official plans, specifically policy 415 and the proposed major street policy changes, intend that development should bear a relationship to the nature of the street on which it faces. In this case, Hallam is a collector road which accommodates 8,500 vehicles a day up to. It's designed for that with a width that corresponds, whereas a local road, Bartlett, is more narrow and carries up to 2,500 vehicles a day. I also note that an apartment building is a permitted use in this zone, and it reflects a building typology which relates well to the abutting collector road on Hallam. Finally, based on this diagram here, in my view, that FSI doesn't suggest the building constitutes overdevelopment, as it meets the prescribed height, exterior side yard, rear yard setbacks, and aligns with the front and side yards of the adjacent building. We're requesting variances for 2 setbacks, corner lot setback at the front. As I mentioned, we're aligning with the front property to the south, and really the prevailing character of front setbacks along Bartlett. From the side yard, we're requesting a variance to 0.6 meters. Currently, there's no side yard setback for the existing building, which is proposed to be removed. We have no windows proposed on the wall facing south, so there are no privacy issues. And the setback is consistent with the character of side yard setbacks you see along Bartlett to the south. It's also sufficient for maintenance and drainage if necessary. And the last 2 variances regard landscaping. The previous application did not have much in the way of landscaping, and if you look at the page in the report, I think it's page 15, you can see the difference between the, page 16, the bottom of page 16, you can see a picture of the existing site and the proposed development. The existing site is primarily concrete and asphalt. We are landscaping as much of the site as possible, accounting for the required building setbacks and other requirements, including the requirement to provide 2 parking spaces. We're also providing 2 trees on the site, in the front yard and one in the rear. In conclusion, the site has been designed to align with the adjacent buildings, to meet most of the height and setback requirements of the bylaw, and to deliver new rental housing in an area proximate to services, parks, transit, and amenities. All 3 levels of government are encouraging new rental housing, and this project will deliver this in a neighborhood scale multi-unit form that greatly contributes to improving green space on site. In my view, this is the kind of contextually appropriate rental infill housing choices the city is encouraging through its expanding housing options in neighborhoods work. And it aligns with the direction, again, of all 3 levels of government to increase the provision of rental housing across the city. In my view, the variances meet the 4 tests under the Act and constitute good planning.
Thank you. Good timing. So I have one quick question before the next speaker. Is that there's a strip around it's a corner lot. So it's the City Boulevard. You're going to restore landscaping there, soft landscaping there?
In discussions with city planning staff, I note their condition requires that the site plan drawing, or the site be developed in accordance with the site plan drawing in the package, which includes all of these landscaped areas. It is our intent and the client's intent to make sure that this is achieved as part of the site. I know it's not specifically on the site, but we've been in discussions with the city about doing this, and I believe that's why their condition is written the way it is.
Okay, thank you. Yes. Thank you. Next speaker.
Through you, Madam Chair, we can now hear from Dale Rich.
Members of the committee?
Thank you. Mr. Rich, you can state your name and address, and also you have 5 minutes to make your presentation.
Name is Dale Rich. I live at number 2866 Bloor Street West. And I'm speaking in opposition to the application.
Go ahead. We're here.
First of all, I want to bring your attention to the fact that there appear to be some building code deficiencies in the plans that are shown. I'm looking at page 505, and this is the same for all the 4 floors. If you look at the bottom of the sketch, you'll see that there's egress doors on each floor where the door is swinging into the stairwell immediately to the left and the right of the, you can see where the doors are swinging. These stairwells are providing egress from the upper floors, and this is a clear building code violation in that the swinging door would interfere with the egress down the stairwell. And that appears to be the same for all 4 floors.
Mr. Richard, can I interrupt us? I'm sorry. For the building code issues, when the time they ready to apply for building permit, they have to answer to all those. And committee's job here now, we are looking at the zoning issues.
I wanted to bring this to your attention because
please,
it could be that in order to solve that problem, they might have to reduce the size of some of the units in order to solve the problem with the...
they, no matter what they do later, they will have to comply with building
It could have an impact on the size of the
We
units.
do not know how to predict that. We are here to focus on the zoning issues. And if you look at the variances that they're asking for, those are the issues that we are focused on. If you have comment on those, we would like to hear.
My point is that these building code deficiencies could very well interfere with the zoning as it could result in smaller units. But anyways, I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Also, there appears to be a stairwell that goes to the roof. And I don't see any access to the roof. Seems to be a problem with the application. In terms of the variances, I still think these variances don't qualify as minor. The floor square index is 2.18. It's actually greater than the original proposal. And the density in the area, allowed density in the zoning bylaw is 0.6. So this is not, in my opinion, a minor variance to go to a density of 218% from 60% coverage. Also, the front yard setbacks is almost to the lot line of the edge of the balconies at 0.6 meters. The requirement's 2.12. These variances are not minor, and therefore, in my opinion, the committee should reject the application and force the applicant to go to an official plan and rezoning amendment. I would also like to speak with regard to the size of the units. It's true that the units have been reduced from 10 to 8, but the new units, the average size is 459 square feet. This is not a family. This is not a unit suitable for a family. This is a family neighborhood. There was a Part 2 plan, which apparently is no longer in effect, but the main conclusion of the Part 2 plan was for low-density residential and with family type of units. These units are clearly designed to maximize the profit for the developers. Considering the situation of the housing market today, and I would argue that These are not the type of housing units we need in this part of Toronto. We need housing units that are suitable for families, and these are clearly not at 459 square foot on average. So I would encourage the committee to turn down the application and force the applicant to go for a official plan and rezoning amendment. Thank you.
Any question to the speaker? Any questions? No.
Through you, Madam Chair, we can hear now from Ralph Capriotti.
Okay.
Good morning to the committee. And I'll try to refrain from everything that Dale Rich repeated. I already,
That will be helpful.
yeah, well, it's my basic sentiments. I'm Ralph Capriotti. I'm the owner at 215 Hallam Street, one of the owners at 215 Hallam Street, which is on the west side. And my other main concern was that the planner said, this was the second plan submitted, but there's no fence or anything. There's no barrier. Right now, the garage serves as a barrier
I see.
on the west side, and it has for the past 100 years or so. That was actually a barn, and the second floor was torn off many, many years ago. So it's like my demands, our demands from the family are that there should be a 7-foot plus fence there, because right now the garage is 8 feet. It covers the whole length of this property at 208 and 206 Bartlett. And because it's a private laneway and a private yard. And from all the concepts that they've shown here, that there's going to be nothing there. It's not going to be a common yard for everybody and drive in and walk in at the yard. And the other part, with these variances, he's still breaking the variances. They're just playing with the green space. The side of Hallam Street, it's a 2-foot strip right now that's paved, and he's going to put grass. The front, people like to use their backyards in this neighborhood, not the front of the yard. The front of the yard is just like a decoration. You know, he still doesn't have enough green space or anything. Okay, he's improved the 2 parking spaces, which I fought for from the previous owners to include 2 parking spaces in 1990. So they're just keeping the 2 parking spaces. And I would like that part of the property surveyed, tagged, because we had a tag, but the previous owner removed all the markings because he built new asphalt and the city came along, put a new sidewalk in, so everything was lost. And I would like all this in writing because it's twice now. Yeah, yes, we will build a fence, but they don't show it on the plans, they don't mention it, you know, it's all lost. Where's our rights? Plus, these units are basically in our face. They're taking away all our privacy. You know, whatever privacy is left in the city. You know, this is not the strictly downtown where all the office towers are or huge buildings. This is still family neighborhoods and was intended for families. And the parking is another contentious issue. There's a church up the street, it doubles as a food bank, and it's completely full every day, and people are squabbling, fighting for parking, and plus, we have so many rental units now. And plus, I've noticed the new height of all these rental units are three stories, not 4. This thing is going to stick out like a sore thumb in this neighborhood, you know. Basically, that's what I could say. I would like it in writing for the survey and that will be done, and the fence.
Thank you. Any question to this speaker? I do have a question. I want you to repeat. You did mention that there was a fence, a privacy fence, that you have in discussion with the proposal of the agent. And I'd like to know exactly, is it along the south and the west?
No, it's on the west side.
On the west side?
On the west side, which is...
The full length of their property.
The full length of their garage is the barrier, acts like a fence for the wire.
And then he did mention something about, I want to know what the location is.
Yeah, it's on the west side.
Okay.
And it goes north to south.
Yeah.
The full length.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a private driveway. That is our property.
And then that you're
Next
in
door.
discussion with them that they will provide privacy.
Well, I talked to the owner previously, but they've redone all the plans, everything else. I still don't see anything.
I understand. I'm
Oh, they-
to mention this. Yeah, I'm going
Yeah.
to. Yeah. Okay.
All they ever say is, all buildings will be demolished. And then they show you the plans, where they play with the greenery, everything else. You know, we spent a lifetime removing trees because a person was almost killed further down our property with a tree, which we wanted removed. But some people objected. The tree, I was standing there, and it almost fell right on, well, it fell right beside one of our neighbors.
Are you at 215?
215 Helms.
What about the south side? Did they mention that besides the shrubbery or hedges they're going to plant? Did they mention a fence there too?
That's the thing. How can you have shrubs? People would just cross into the south side property. I don't understand that, just having shrubs, if these people are comfortable with it.
So I guess 204 maybe is
204,
Yeah.
yes.
But you assume that a fence will work better.
Well, yes, I assume a fence going all the way through. Then if they want to add shrubs to it, fine, for, immediate privacy.
Yes.
It's just that the whole building is too close. The setbacks here say 50%, it's 21% variance. They're not minor variances. That thing is minor variance here. Where's our privacy? We've been there 66 years, and a lot of our neighbors have been there. And, they're against it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Through you, Madam Chair, we can hear back from the agent now.
Okay, please. Yeah, please respond to the issues that just raised by the previous speakers. Yeah.
Certainly. Thank you, Madam Chair. On the OBC requirements, the plans have been reviewed by Toronto building staff, and we'll certainly...
Sorry, through you, Madam Chair. I'm going to have to ask you to move over.
Okay.
Yes.
that's fine.
Sorry, Ralph, so you can go back to the
I can go
audience.
back? Okay, that's
and
fine.
then,
Thank you.
Yeah, because they want
I
to
wasn't
see
sure
you.
if I should still sit here or not.
No, it's okay. It's
Okay.
just we need to see the applicant on WebEx and YouTube. Thank you. You can proceed.
Thank you. So Toronto building staff has reviewed the plans. We'll, of course, have to meet the OBC requirements if there's a development that proceeds on this site. On the FSI question, in my view, the basis for determining whether a proposed variance is minor in nature includes an assessment of impact. And the determination is not necessarily one of a mathematical exercise, but one that has to relate to context. And even though a variance may constitute a larger numerical change, if the effect of the requested variance is still minor in context, my belief is that it meets the intent of the test. I think this is illustrated well in the comparison of the as-of-right multiplex to the form and scale of the proposed building, which again meets or exceeds, meets the required height and several setbacks while requiring limited relief from the others. It's been cited to reflect the setbacks of adjacent properties and meet the majority of the zoning requirements. Again, the garage to the west. So we reached out to the owner to the west. We haven't had any follow-up conversations with the previous speaker, but I've talked to the client, and they're happy to put up a fence towards the west. And I think, as I said, we've been talking to the owner at 204 Bartlett to the south, and they want to work with the owner on fencing and landscaping. So, we're happy to have every adjacent neighbor involved in that conversation. From a setback point of view and a privacy point of view, I note that the building is set back 7.5 meters from the west, and that reflects the setback for any type of building there, including a 4-story as-of-right multiplex, which could have windows facing west or balconies, as is proposed. And the 2 parking spaces that are proposed also, they meet the bylaw requirements. I believe I've responded to most of the concerns that came up.
The one concern with the first speaker is the variance 4. It's the side yard setback. He's concerned that it's a bit close because you reduce to like half of is required. So can you speak to that, please?
Certainly. Again, we've tried to align the setback on Bartlett, which is the setback that I believe was the concern, with the front of the neighbor's house to the south. And so that building footprint reflects what the prevailing setback along Bartlett is in accordance with the official plans policies. It also allows space for landscaping on both the private side of the property and within the boulevard out front, which is quite wide. It's 6.5 meters deep from the property line to the street, and then a further 2.12 meters from the property line to the house. So it's nearly 9 meters from the curb to the building face.
Yeah, but on the south side, side, you are complying with the setback, right?
On the south side, there's a 1.2 meter required setback. We're requesting 0.6. Again, the owner to the south, as we've contacted, is comfortable with that.
Oh, this is
And there's opportunity there for softscape for drainage purposes and whatnot. And the existing building has no setback to the south. So we're improving that condition in a sense. Also, there are no windows facing south. So we feel the variance is appropriate in this case.
So have you also contacted or discussed this with the 204 Barrett, just the property on the south?
Yes, we have.
I heard that there's some information that they also like to have a fence all along the south side, or just a portion, just the portion of the rear yard.
We've talked with them about the landscaping both in the front and the rear yard of the proposed development, and there's an email chain with the owner to the south, and we're happy to work with them. We're in positive communications with them. So.
The question to you, I will try to convince our panelists to agree, is that I think on the west side for sure, the speaker that would like to have a fence, and then on the south side, because we are not too sure, but at least where the shrubbery is, will have a privacy fence. I would like actually to suggest that we put it as condition if we are going to approve. Would you mind? This is going to be, it's not like you go in to discuss with them, because I think that it seems to be a very major issues for them.
We would have no objections to such a condition, Madam Chair.
Yeah, and there are the two other, any questions before I finish? I have two more questions. Your floor plan, fourth floor, the stairs, I think they are drawn incorrectly. Give people a mistaken idea that you can go up to the roof. That is some kind of issue to me, because we would like to make sure that the roof is not an accessible space. We don't want people to go up and have party over. So I will suggest to put in condition that the roof is a non-accessible roof. Will you agree to that?
I would, yes. That is the intent, and I can see the inconsistency on the drawings here. So
yeah, because
well,
you can, it's going, yeah, you can do that, and then it just the speaker was right that it's got nothing to do with building code. This has got to do with use of the space, right?
No objection.
So, yeah, so that's one question. And I have finished my question. Any question from the floor to this speaker? Okay, thank you. We have no more questions. Now we are into committee.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'd like to speak to this.
Yes, please, of course. Mr. Wee.
Yeah, so I very much agree with your conditions. I think that should help the owner of 215 Hallam feel more at ease with this construction. I think that's important. But otherwise, I find this to be a very thoughtful and creative use of the space. I think that actually it's important to have a range of unit sizes in any neighborhood, so that you can have a variety of people able to live in those neighborhoods. And this is providing that range of spaces. This is also an area with pretty good transit and cycling facilities. So I think it should be possible for people who are living in these studios to be living without a car. So I think that the parking issue shouldn't be too much of a problem. And I feel like this is very much an appropriate development on a collector road like Hallam. It's not higher, the height is within the zoning regulations. And it's very much in the way that we want our neighborhoods to develop by adding an additional range of living spaces. So I'm very much in support of this with the conditions that you've mentioned.
Okay, any comment? Is that a motion?
Yeah, I'm happy to make a motion. I move that we approve these variances with two conditions. One is that a 7-foot privacy fence be built on the west side and on the south side where the shrubbery is indicated. And the second is that the roof not be accessible through staircase.
Thank you. Anyone second?
Through you, Madam Chair,
I
is
have-
there a report from planning, community planning on this one?
Oh, yes,
With the
sorry,
condition
quite
to
right.
tie
And
to
also
the
with
plan?
the, thanks. And also with the planning conditions in the planning report.
Yeah, I didn't have that written down. Yes, with the planning conditions.
And through you, Madam Chair, regarding the fence, you may want to consider in compliance with the fence bylaw.
Yes, yes. That's, they
Yes.
build, yeah, I think
In
you have
compliance
7
with the
feet.
fence bylaw.
Yeah, the 7 feet seem to a little bit high, but yeah. But they can add things on top, like a screen or something. No, it's okay, we are in committee now. So anyone second to that motion? Mr. Wee have a motion? Yeah, Mr. Wilkins second it. All in favor with conditions? Yeah, unanimously approved. Thank you. Oh, okay, sorry. This one is condition. Okay. So roof and fence. Okay. Okay. Next item is item number 11. Oh no, sorry. It's number 12. 87 Collegeville Avenue. Just wait a second. Just, sorry, the way a little bit. Let me find the. Number 1287 Collegeville. The purpose for this application is to construct a new 3-story detached dwelling with an integral garage, a third-floor balcony, a rear third-floor balcony, and a rear ground-floor terrace, and a rear basement walkout, and an oversized driveway. They are looking for 5 variances. And on this file, we have received a survey, site plan, floor plans, elevation, revised site plan, and also 3 photographs of the trees and red line public notice. There's some revisions, I believe, supporting material from the agent. And we have comment from Metrolinx and Transportation Engineering, and also we have a comment from Urban Forestry. There are some interest or concern from 89 Collegeville Avenue, and there are oppositions, both from Collegeville Avenue.
Through you, Madam Chair, we have the agent online. We have one person online speaking in concern, and we have some speakers here in opposition.
Okay.
3 speakers in opposition.
3 speakers in opposition.
Through you, Madam Chair, we also received a very late 3D image, which the speakers from 85 Collegeville Avenue will be speaking to.
Okay, thank you.
And we'll present it at the time that they make their deputation. So we can now hear from the agent.
Yes, thank you.
Hello, Madam Chair, members of the panel. Franco Romano here on behalf of the owner.
Yes.
So as you point, 321 Lakeshore, as you pointed out, Madam Chair, there are revisions. I think there was a red line revision, so I'll just walk through them.
Okay.
And these were done as part of the conversations and discussions that the owner and Ms. Evangelista, who sends her regrets, has met with the neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
So variance number 1, wall height, we are reducing that from 10.5 to 10.09 meters.
Mm-hmm.
The building length is being reduced from 19.16 meters to 18.86 meters.
18.
And that is only for
18.16, you said?
18.86.
86, okay, thank you, sorry.
That is for a one-story bump out. The variance number 3, building depth, is being removed.
Oh, okay.
So that is no longer being requested.
Mhm.
And variance number 4, floor space index, is being revised to 0.9962, which is 421.96 square meters.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay, variance number 5 is a driveway width of 3.63 meters. It's only for a small portion of the property, and that is not being changed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So staff can bring up page 1 of the presentation that Ms. Evangelista had submitted, please. That'd be fantastic, supporting material. So the subject site is located on the south side of College View Avenue, which is south of Eglinton, east of Chaplain Crescent. It's in an area that consists of detached residential built form of varying styles, building lengths, setbacks, and whatnot. The buildings that exist along College View and in the surrounding area range from 2 to 3 stories in height. And you'll see that the subject site today is a 2-story building, and its next door neighbors are both 3 stories in dormer format. The wall height variance that's being sought here is very comparable to what is being shown in the right-hand side of that image of that. However, in the former bylaw, the former Toronto bylaw, wall height was not a regulated item. So it's become an item under bylaw 569/2013. That is why it's a variance. So if we can skip to variance page number 4 of this presentation, please. The wall height variance is really to facilitate the 3rd floor or the roof to be partially used for floor space. That 3rd floor is only 11.3 meters in length, and it is towards the front central portion of the building. You see that the balance of the wall height is 7.47 meters, and the overall building height zoning bylaw compliant. So it's a very small portion of the building that has a wall height variance. If we go to the next slide, we'll see that the building length, the building itself, building length and depth, the dark green measurement, it's largely 17 meters, 7.03 to 17.04 meters for the 2nd floor. The 1st floor is 18.86 meters, and that is for a bump out at the rear. See, it's a 1-story bump out for a breakfast nook. The 3rd floor, you don't see it here because it's in a broken line shown within the footprint, and it is 11.3 meters. So there is no length or depth variance for that. And you can see in the lower portion of this slide, it shows the 3rd floor towards the front is in dormer format. And if we go back to the side elevation, we'll see in the previous slide, see that you dose. The rear 3rd floor balcony, for which there is no variance, is to allow for egress because it is a 3-story building. And what you'll see in this side elevation is that it is basically screened from view from both sides because of the largely sloped roof condition. So in terms of building height, there is no variance for the 3 stories or the overall height. And what we see along the street is about 40% of properties in the immediate context have a building height of 2.5 to 3 stories. And most of those are in dormer format, and that is what's being proposed. And in terms of floor space index, we'll see up to 0.89 on the street and very nearby. So the proposal is in keeping with that. It's a little larger in terms of how the zoning examination calculates it for this property. So it's not really an apples to apples comparison. So I would submit that what is being proposed here is a minor in nature, has the support of staff. Planning staff have no concern. They had no concerns with the original pre-revision list of variances. Urban Forestry has 2 conditions of approval, which is satisfactory, and Metrolinx just has the advisory comments. So subject to any questions, Madam Chair, I'm happy to assist.
Thank you. Yeah, I think we will hold our question to you and after we hear the other speakers, okay? Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Through you, Madam Chair, we can hear now from Anthony Garcia. Okay, so we will hear from the owners of 85 College View Avenue.
Okay. 85. Okay. Welcome, yes.
Thank you. Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the panel. My name is John O'Sullivan, 85 College View Avenue. I'm here with Julia Fisher.
Okay.
At the
College View Avenue as well.
same address. And so we are both the occupants of the adjoining property. Just so that the committee can visually see you'll look on the diagram there, you'll see the yellow highlighted drawing. That just gives you if you could blow up that yellow highlighted part, you will see that that is our house. The bottom picture is a slightly better one, actually. If you can go the one below that, there it is. There is our house, obviously the smaller of the two. But just to give you an idea of an overall picture of the situation. Our first request this morning, Madam Chair, is we have been, as Mr. Romero, I think his name is indicated, we've been in discussions with the owners, and we have had fruitful meetings with them. We've had 2 meetings with them. The last meeting we had with them was December the 9th, and they have given us, on that date, they gave us the revised plans that are before the committee today. We have some questions, had some questions about those revised plans, and we sent them to the owner of 87. And we haven't actually heard back yet. But so our first request for the committee this morning is we would ask you to please consider just standing this down to allow us to continue to have conversations with the owners. Because it's very fruitful to have these conversations. Things change. We do not want to oppose their application. We want to try and work with them to come to an agreement on something, and we'd like more time to do that. So would the committee consider holding this down or putting this over to the next Committee of Adjustments meeting in January?
We certainly will bring it to the committee, and then we will discuss this. So my question to you is that on December 9th, you have met on December 9th.
Yes.
And they came up with some revisions, but you need time to go through those revisions. Is that what the reason why you're asking for deferral? Secondly, my question is that do you have the feeling that those revisions can be worked out if we give him more time?
I would hope so, because they seem very reasonable. We're very reasonable. We want peace in the neighborhood. That's what we would like, the opportunity to do that.
Yeah. This is a question I will put to the applicant or the agent to answer. So, okay, you still have some time if you want to speak. You have 2 minutes.
Okay. So I was hoping that was going to be before I make my submissions, that request for a deferral, but.
But then you're only allowed 5 minutes, so you might as well use.
All right. Well, let me quickly tell you that in the event that we don't have that opportunity to have further discussions, we would like to refer to the fact that, as you'll see from the Barton letter, which is one of the materials that is before you, what this represents is an increase seeking an increase of 2 meters in the length, and they're increasing the gross floor area is a 67% increase, and they're also seeking a 1 meter increase in height. And we would ask if the committee is not going to force us to actually take a position today rather than have further discussions, we would ask that 2 meters extension that they're seeking beyond the as of right would be reduced to 1 meter, and that the height of 1 meter be reduced to 0.5 meter, so that we would have a smaller unit, And because you'll see that the main concern, this is in our view, of course, we've lived there for 25 years. We made renovations to capture the west light, and the effect of this new structure that would go in would be completely to deprive the house of the benefit of those renovations that captures the light, because we would, as you will see, if we can go back to the light shadow, you'll see that at 4 o'clock, for example, on a June afternoon, we would actually have no western light whatsoever, and that is a material impact. We appreciate that they have as of rights, and we're happy to talk to them about that, and we want to try continue to work this out. But as things stand, there is a complete blockage of our western light, the way that things are proposed, and we hope to be able to work with them to reduce the amount of that blockage. We realize we can't cut it out completely, but we want to try and reduce it by agreement with them.
Okay. So the last question, I think your time is up, but I can ask you a question. So they have make some revisions on some of your particularly some of your concerns on the variances. You think that those revisions are not quite answering your...
Yeah. The important point, and this is really why we want to continue discussions with them, is because when we met with them on the 9th and they gave us the revisions, we studied them over the next few days and we look at them. In fact, the revised version, the house area, the gross floor area is in fact greater, because although the front has come back a very small amount, I think 1 foot, that it seems to have increased the size of the third floor, which makes the third floor problem worse. And maybe this is something we can work out with them. The problem is that the revised plan is actually a bigger structure, bigger gross floor area than the superseded plan.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all. Okay.
I have a brief question. I saw that you had commissioned the planning report of Michael Barton.
Yes.
And were you planning on running the revised proposal, like getting an opinion on that proposal to submit to the committee as well?
I hope we could, using Mr. Barton's report, I'm hoping that we wanted to be armed with the information, armed with that, his points. I hope we could use that in our further discussions with the neighbors. That's what we would intend to do. And I should just point out that it's on page 4 of his report where his points is summarized, and it's that paragraph that begins with the effect of the requested variances. And I would draw that paragraph to the committee's attention in particular. Everything is summarized there. It gives the breakdown of the percentages and the meters requested beyond as of right. But the answer to your question is, I'm not sure if it was necessary, we would get a further report from Mr. Barton. Hopefully, we could use his report to negotiate our own deal with the owners.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions of this speaker? Mr. Wee?
Oh, there is one other point, Madam Chair. Sorry.
Oh, you're still answering the question?
Sorry.
Or may I have some time as a separate person, about 1 minute?
Are you from the same address?
I'm from the same address.
I will consult Secretary, Deputy Secretary. No, what? Oh.
Through you, Madam Chair, typically we allow 5 minutes per household.
Yes.
If Julia Fisher can keep it under a minute, then we'll allow that. Just turn on your microphone.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. And the last point, just because we didn't get to it, was if in fact all these variances are deemed minor, I think we are hoping that you can impose a condition that the builder actually build in accordance with the plans submitted.
Mm-hmm. That is given. They have to.
That is given?
Yeah, that's true. We'll expect them to build as they propose, for sure.
So in accordance with those plans?
Yeah,
okay.
and only unless there's the revisions that we want to specifically state that they have to build according to. Okay.
Thank you.
Just wait a second. I just want to check whether they have any more questions from the panel. Okay, no, thank you. Yeah.
Through you, Madam Chair, we can now hear from Anthony Garcia.
Anthony Garcia, live at 81 College View and owner. So to follow up on a couple of items, I don't know if it's been mentioned, there's a black walnut tree that's been there for a very long period of time on the property of the prior speakers. And
So I'm so sorry. Did you give us your address?
81 College View
I
Avenue,
was-
owner and live there.
Okay, thank you.
So I wanted to mention that I don't think there was any mention of a black walnut tree, which is a particular species in the neighborhood, and I believe it is a protected species. So the other thing that I'll mention is that that type of tree obviously is protected. It has been protected for some time. Building on that scale with that type of home obviously creates significant shadows. And I don't know if they've done a shadow study on how it'll affect the trees, how it'll affect the root systems, the water systems, and the flow of water. So obviously they're removing by the plans, looks like 2 trees, one from the front, one from the rear, meaning that there will be no trees or greenery on their own property. They've asked for a larger width of driveway space, so given the scale and size of the residence, the enlarged driveway space, they're really taking away from the greenery and I guess the neighborhood, which is truly called Forest Hill. So I think you have to really consider the size and scale, and I know that Agent did mention briefly just a small bump out of the breakfast nook. One thing I'll say is that there's 16,685 square feet, so a small bump out. I think these small little details really have to come into play when they're planning on potentially installing a pool, takes away from flow of water, and all of these factors will dramatically impact the black walnut tree and the water flow overall. Not to mention putting in a walkout basement in the rear causes more space that is taken on the rear section. So there really is no green space left on this property with the enlarged driveway, the walkout basement, the pool. So I think these issues should be taken into consideration by committee. The scale is, I know the agent had referenced 40% of the houses have about 2.5-story residences. I'll mention that many of those are for optics and effect. Is there any actual specific detail on every single house in that section where they reference 40% of the houses? I know that my residents, their top story is in excess of 900 square feet, 963 to be exact. My main floors are only 900 square feet. So the sheer size and scale is larger than any residence on that street, takes up tremendous amount of space, and it is just a gross, obviously it's going to be a luxury residence, but it is a gross scale of building and construction that does not take into consideration the neighborhood that's traditional, and obviously building is going to get bigger and better, hopefully. And again, we do want to work with builders and to improve the residences, but I just have to go back to the wider driveways. There's one directly across the street. They requested a wider driveway. They actually covered at least 70%, heated the whole thing. There's no green space, stonework. So this is what we expect and what we see regularly occurring. Living on the bottom end of a hill section where the water flows down, this is an issue that will come to fruition. When it comes to being on the bottom, on the south side of the street, I mentioned that, all the water flows down into the south side of College View. And this is, obviously the new house is going to be all waterproofed and protected, but all the other residences have to deal with the water flows. So I think there should be shadow study, water study, how it'll impact the black walnut tree. These are just simple things that, as a builder and a professional, they should be adhered to and provided.
Thank you. Yes. Any question to the speaker? No. So then let's have...
Through you, Madam Chair, we do have one person online in concern, so we will unmute them.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi there. My name is Helen Wang, and I live at 89 College View Avenue. I'm directly west of the property. I also met with the agent and the owner on December 9th with my neighbors at 87 College View. I did get the revised plan. It really did not change much from the original. I am concerned about daylight. I did have an extension put into my home just before COVID, and I did put in very large windows so that we could capture as much daylight as possible. My other concern is that properties on the south side of College View are all sloped. My backyard in particular has quite a slope, and I do have a small creek running underneath my property, and I do worry that if this large building goes up, that it will divert some of the water back onto my property, and I do worry about flooding, especially if they're going to be putting in a pool at the very bottom, so I'm not quite sure how that water flow is going to be affecting my property and my other neighbor at the bottom on Duncannon. I did express my concerns about the length of the home. I gather with the revisions, it's within approval, but it's just such a large home. And I don't see how you can approve a length when you consider that the overall square footage is, 97%. Anyways, I don't oppose building, I understand, but I do hope that we can work with the owners with some of the concerns that we all have. I've been living here for 19 years. My neighbor on Duncannon has been here for longer. I mean, we are all longtime residents here. We would just like some cooperation. And I think that's it.
Can I ask you one question? Yeah.
Sure.
The other speaker, which is 85, number 85, did mention that he's wanting some more time to work with the applicant. What's your feeling on this?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Yeah, the speakers from number 85 did mention that they receive all the revisions, but they do not have enough time to go through these revisions. He is requesting a more time or deferral for this case. I just want to know your opinion on this. Yeah. More time.
I would also like a deferral. I would like more time because I would like to speak with the owner about my concerns about the water flow. I mean, currently there's a big oak tree in the backyard of 87 College View.
Yes, you answered my question. Thank you. Yes. Okay. Let's have the next speaker. Yeah, please.
Through you, Madam Chair, we can now go back to the agent.
Yes. Please, Mr. Romano.
Thank you, staff, for putting me back on. I appreciate that. And thank you, Madam Chair, and also thanks to the neighbors for their participation, their discussions, and with the owner as well. And if I must say that the revised plans were provided to the neighbors at the same time that it was submitted to, perhaps just before it was submitted to the Committee of Adjustment. So it wasn't that they were shown the drawings or the plans on December 9th on the weekend. I think that's when the meeting in person took place. And I think that's where there was a bit of a divergence in the opinion or moving forward. The proposal has been revised to take into account the comments that were made and the submissions that were made in private between the two neighbors in particular. And if we can go to drawing A008, which is the roof drawing, we'll see that in large measure, what is being a point of concern with both the immediate neighbors is the as of right, what the zoning permits as of right. Because, and I'm not sure if staff can flip that, but we'll just leave it and I can discuss it. But the as of right 3D drawing that was given to the neighbors as well, but was not shared by them, because what they've shared is actually what was given by the owner to them, shows that there's actually a larger degree of impact that the current zoning would afford on both neighbors. And that is because the building length, building height, and just for a detached residential building would be larger in mass than what is being in front of this panel today. The existing permissions for a multiplex on the subject site would also be larger in mass and scale. And if we look at this drawing, this roof plan, we'll see that that middle portion where there's a vertical line, a line that goes up and down, and then there's a skylight off to the right of it in the lower right, that all slopes down towards the sides. Towards the left, those are the dormers that face the front. And towards the right, you'll see that there's a small cap of a roof in the lower right-hand side. And then on to the upper right, that is all open. So even within the existing permitted building length of 17 meters, which is all within the existing permitted depth of 19 meters, there's a mitigation of impact in terms of mass and scale because there are slopes downwards, there's punctuation with the dormers, which open space, and there's open space in the back with the sloped roofs as well. So the revisions that were made included a pulling away from the side lot lines of the bump out, a reduction in that bump out. That bump out is only 1.83 meters long, and it's only 4.26 meters in width. So it's very, very small, and it is largely outside of the tree protection zone of that black walnut. The balcony is also being removed. We have about a 2.9 meter side yard setback for that balcony, and I've already indicated where that measurement is. There's no regulated tree that is being affected, including that black walnut rear. So there's no impact on mature trees. The landscaping in the front and the rear is well in excess of what the zoning bylaw requires, and it's largely keeping what is there, particularly in the front. If we can go to the site plan drawing, I can show you that the 3.63 meter width and driveway is only where there's a bit of a curvature to the driveway, and just underneath that line drawing for the driveway, you'll see in broken line where the existing driveway is. So the proposal is pretty much following where the existing driveway is, and it's skirting around that city tree, which is why on a bit of an angle we have the 3.63 meters. Otherwise, the driveway is 3.35 meters in width. And contrary to Mr. Barton's letter, that says that the prevailing height on the street is 2 stories. There are 3-story buildings, and his client's property next door is a 3-story building. It's 2.5 because it's in dormer format. That's exactly what's being proposed for the subject property. Without that roof being used as, or that attic being used as floor space, it is 0.77 floor space index. So it's very, very modest in keeping with what's found on the street, which approaches, like I mentioned, 0.9. The subject to any questions, Madam Chair, I submit that the revisions do indeed address the neighbors' concerns, and we're happy to have a condition of approval that construction occurs substantially in accordance with the revised site plan and elevation drawings. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Woman. Any question to which? Okay, we have a question to Woman.
Sir.
From the panel, yeah.
Yeah. So you've heard from 2 neighbors who seem quite reasonable and anxious to work with the applicant. They've asked for a deferral to have further discussion. Would this be prejudicial to your client at all? To accept a deferral request?
Yes, through you, Madam Chair. Thank you for that question. I think it would be prejudicial because it would prolong a period of time that the applicant has discussed with the neighbors and has made good faith revisions and presented them to the committee, and also presented to the neighbors that a lot of their light requests are being maintained by the proposal. Keeping in mind that the sun rises in the east, which allows the neighbor to the east, which is Ms. Fisher, Mr. O'Sullivan, to have full sun exposure until later in the afternoon, where any as-of-right permitted building on the subject site would cast shadow. So I don't believe that there would be any fundamental differences in the light exposure if a deferral was being granted.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Romano, actually, I have the same question, but let me rephrase it. Maybe then it will be clearer. You have two neighbors, and they come and they appreciate the way that you have been working with them, but they seem to both want to have a little bit more time. And that is the question. My question is that if we phrase it, you are not planning to make any more revisions from what you have already done. And is it your idea that further deferral is not going to make any changes on your proposal? That's my question.
Yes, thank you for that question. Madam Chair, I don't believe that there are going to be any fundamental changes that would result from a deferral. But the owner is more than willing to continue to discuss with both neighbors and see what can be done in order to further mitigate the buildings and the issues that both neighbors have. But I don't believe that the fundamental issue is going to alter with a deferral.
Yes, you will think that the variances will not be different from what we are looking at them now, right?
Correct.
Okay, that's my okay. So, any more questions to this speaker or to the previous speaker? Okay, we can still ask questions. Yeah. Mr. Reid, you have questions? We will not forget you, although you're online.
I have no questions.
Okay. Any more? No more questions. Okay, we have asked all your questions now. I move the application into committee.
Madam Chair, before you do, I thought you were waiting to hear from the members of the panel, but I did have one.
Through you, Madam Chair. We have heard from the speakers as well as the agent. We are now in committee.
Yes.
The members do not have any questions of the speakers nor of the agent at this time.
Yes.
So I will ask that you leave the podium, please, because committee is in committee to render a decision. Thank you. And it's in fairness of the process.
Yes. Okay. We are in committee. I can make the first comment. It's about the deferral. I actually wish that the applicant will agree to it because it seems that we encourage more consultation. But the second thing is that if the variance is not going to be changed, and we are looking at the same set of variances, and I think that we have gone through the impact, and we can actually take it as it is now.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, I don't agree.
Okay.
Because I also heard the agent say that he would talk about mitigating where he could. I'm not sure I understand, or I don't believe that it would be highly prejudicial to defer this to our next sitting. I heard two neighbors who just wanted to talk. This is not a application before us that's creating much needed rental housing. This is a private home in Forest Hill. I think, my own opinion is I think that we should accept the deferral request made by two of the people in opposition.
Okay, any comment on the, let's focus on the deferral request first. I'd like to listen to everyone on this.
I tend to agree with Ms. Fig. The neighbors are very involved. I didn't hear any real prejudice identified other than that there was going to be some delay, which without more is not particularly persuasive. But I also saw that the folks at 85 College View went to the trouble to get a professional opinion. The plans changed very recently. I think, and so the trouble they went to participate in this process was a bit undermined by the late submission. And I think that in fairness for everybody in this active group who are all willing to cooperate, it makes sense to defer from my perspective. But
okay,
those are
Mr.
my
Reid,
thoughts.
Mr. Reid, I need your opinion on this before I make my last comment.
Through you, Member Reid, can you hear us from the committee room?
It seems that he is not looking at us, and it doesn't seem that he. Oh. How did he say about the deferral?
Okay. Through you, Madam Chair, we need a 2-minute break. I think we've lost the sound on WebEx, and so we just need a minute to fix that, okay?
Okay. Okay, we take 2-minute break. Sorry.
I don't see a chat.
Member
I think
Reid,
I can
can you
hear
hear
again.
us now in the committee room?
I can hear you again, yeah.
Okay, great, thank you. Just give us a minute, we'll all be back.
So I didn't hear the discussion about the deferral.
Yes, so we will go back to Member Fig for that.
Okay. I'm also happy to just abstain on that one since I was basically absent.
It's okay, we'll go back so that we have all members.
Okay. Also, for future reference, perhaps we should get a phone number so we can call if there's technical difficulties if we're
Sure.
if we're
Or email.
in,
Email would be easier, but thank you.
I actually just sent an email, but phone can be faster. So I'll be back in a sec.
Okay, let's resume, fix the problem. Okay. Mr. Reed, I'd like you to give us your comment.
Sorry, through you, Madam Chair. I think we need to go back to the first discussion of a deferral
Yeah, that's what I
because
mean, yeah.
those that were viewing from WebEx were not able to hear that discussion.
Oh, okay, so start with Ms. Fick.
Yes.
Can Ms. Fick, can you repeat your comment on the deferral comment and then Mr. Wilkins? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I felt that in this application, we heard from two neighbors who sound very reasonable, are interested in working with the applicant. They requested a little more time. Personally, I felt that it wouldn't be prejudicial to the applicant, or not overly so, to grant the deferral. I noted that this was, the application before us was not an application where it was meeting the demands of much-needed rental housing. This is a private home in Forest Hill, and I personally think that we should be accepting the deferral request made by two people in opposition.
Thank you. Mr. Wilkins.
I tended to agree with Ms. Figg. What I had said before was that I didn't hear any particular prejudice articulated by the applicant other than the short delay, which in and of itself wasn't overly significant to me. If there had been some other reason, I may have felt there to be more prejudice. But also in this case, I considered that one of the deputies had obtained a professional opinion based on the previous plans, and they'd submitted it. The plan had been revised after, and to me it seemed only fair that everybody have the time they need to comment on the revised plans.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Wick, did you hear all that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
can you
heard
give
that.
us your, let's just focus on the deferral requests. Yeah.
Yeah, my feeling is that given that the as of right building would have the same impacts as the primary considerations, and there has been a lot of discussion, and that the owners don't appear to want to change the particular variances that we're discussing, from my opinion, is that we do not need a deferral.
Okay, thank you. Okay, my own opinion is that, first of all, I think I have to consult our Deputy Secretary Treasurer, only because that usually our deferral request, we always make it in before we hear the details. In this case, we can still do it, right? We can, yeah.
Through you, Madam Chair, yes.
Okay.
If that's the motion that's on the floor, then yes.
Okay, so that's good. That's clear. My opinion on this is that the two neighbors are long-time residents, and although they have been, it seems that they have discussions with the applicant, and it seems that it's going on quite well. And I thought that it is it's not a good position to stop that in a way, or maybe. But then the applicant did say that they will continue working with them, although he doesn't see that they're going to make any material changes to the proposal. But that's why I thought of a little bit torn in this way. But I think just to maintain a good relationship with neighbors, giving out some more time, maybe it is beneficial at the end. What do you guys think? So I need a motion on the floor about the deferral.
I move that we accept the deferral requests.
Anyone second to that? Mr. Wilkins second that, and all in favor?
Sorry, through you, Madam Chair. So the deferral would be for further conversations with the residents?
Yes, with the residents.
And through you, Madam Chair, we are scheduling now for our January 31st hearing. So perhaps we could defer it to the January 31st hearing.
Oh, that's
that would
good.
help the
We actually have
landowner
a
as
date
well.
for next. So it's not good. It's Christmas in between. I guess to make it easier. Okay, there's a motion on the floor to defer it, and we have Mr. Wilkins second. All in favor? I have to vote. 3-1.
And Member Reid has dissented. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. To the next meeting, January 31st, and the purpose is for the applicants to continue consulting the next door neighbors. Thank you very much for coming, all of you. So the next item is number 13, address is 116 Canal Wharf Avenue. The purpose for this application is to alter the existing 2.5-story detached dwelling by constructing a rear 3-story addition with a rear ground level covered deck and a third-floor terrace. Also to construct an extension to the front porch and to construct a third-story side dormer. They have they're actually side dormers, so they're more than one. So they're asking for 2 variances. And on this file, we have received a copy of surveys, floor plans, elevation, cover letter from the agent, and the decision affecting the subject property, and arborist report. And we have the communication from Urban Forestry, and we have support from 8 addresses on the same street. Let's have.
Through you, Madam Chair, we have the agent online and no registered speakers for this item.
Okay. Thank you. I believe is Mr. Smith?
Jay. Good afternoon, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
Jay Smith, applicant for the, or agent for the application, and my address is 2814 Hollington Crescent.
Okay, I just noticed you do not have any opposition, and we have studied all your material. So let me check with the panel whether they require a presentation from you. Okay. No, Mr. Weed, no. No one requires a presentation. We are going into question so. Any questions? No questions either. So, Mrs. Smith, we are ready to bring this case into committee. Do you have anything else you want to say before we do that?
No, thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. So there are 2. Okay, now we are in committee. With just 2 variances, and then if I can have some comments or motion on this one.
I'll make a motion.
Oh, you have something to say? Okay. No.
I'll make a motion.
Oh, you make a motion. I'm sorry, I thought you were speaking. Okay, Mr. Weed has a motion. Okay, please tell us your motion.
Yeah. Given these are very minor, given the support of the direct neighbors, given that they've already included privacy screens in the plans, which is very thoughtful of them, and the length thing is actually really just a bay window, I move that we approve these variances with forestry condition number 2.
Yeah, a forestry condition, yes, that's right. Anyone second to that motion? Yeah, Ms. Fake, second. All in favor? Unanimously approved. Thank you very much. Yeah. And with forestry condition 2, yeah. Okay, next item is number 14, 83 Wobeno Avenue. The purpose, I cannot read the purpose. I cannot read the text. Because
it's okay. Through you, Madam Chair.
Oh, yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Purpose of application is to reconstruct the roof of the existing ancillary building, which is a detached storage garage located in the rear yard of the property.
Yes. And we receive on this file a survey site plan, floor plan, elevation, and and a rear yard. A photograph of the rear yard and cover letter from the agent and presentation material from the agent. we received comment from transportation engineering and staff report from urban forestry. And we have support, 20 support on Robina Avenue and one on Goldsmith Garden. Thank you.
Through you, Madam Chair, we have the agent online and no registered speakers for this item.
Okay.
Francois, you've been unmuted.
I'm still on mute. Oh, there we go. Good afternoon, Madam Chair
Yes.
and committee members. My name is Francois Abbott of 213 Sterling Road, representing the owners of 83 Rubina.
Okay. You have no opposition, but a lot of support. I do not know whether the panel wants to have a presentation from you. Let me check, please. No one is interested in a presentation. We have studied all your material. Do you have something you want to address?
Thank you.
Before I move this into a discussion?
I would just like to mention if there are comments from urban forestry, sorry, there's an echo, that there is no change to grade whatsoever.
Okay, but then
And we're working with the existing foundations.
Okay, but you will accept the condition though, right? Forest 1 and 2.
I accept.
Okay, thank you. All right, we are in committee now. Question to the agent? Don't seem to have any question. Motion, please, or comment.
I move we accept this application, given that the variance is minor.
Yeah, and anyone second?
I'll second the application,
Mr. Wee
given that
second.
it's partially to keep a tall person from hitting their head, which I approve of that
Yes.
that motive.
Okay, and with forestry, 2 conditions. Yes, all in favor. Unanimously approved. Thank you. Let's move to the last item in the morning slot is number 15. The address is 1001 Queen Street West. And the purpose for this application is to permit a high increase for the mechanical stack on the roof of the new forensic mental health building, and as with the CAMH building. And they're only asking for 1 variance. On this file, we also receive a survey, site plan, floor plan elevation, and cover letter from the agent, and decisions number affecting the subject property, arborist report, and presentation material from the agent, and site-specific bylaw. We have correspondence from Metrolink and a staff report from community planning.
Through you, Madam Chair, we have the agent and consultant here in person to speak on this item, and we do not have any registered speakers for this item.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, we're ready. Say your name and your address, please.
Good afternoon, committee members and Madam Chair. My name is Caitlin Martin. I'm with WSP Canada Inc. We are acting as the agent on behalf of the applicant, the Center for Addiction and Mental Health. Ahead of a presentation, if required, we have reviewed the staff report and the conditions, and we have no concerns. So we do have a presentation if you would like, and if not, we are prepared to answer any questions.
Yeah, before that, I'm going to check whether anyone wants the presentation. It doesn't seem they need one, so because we have studied all the material, do you want, has anything specific you want to say to the panel before we move into making a decision?
Through you, Madam Chair, no. Again, just to note that we have no issues with the conditions as prescribed by planning and Metrolinx.
Yeah. Let me see my notes. Any question to the applicant, please? Yeah. Just one small question about the Metrolink comment. Is it an advisory comment or is it a condition?
Through you, Madam Chair, advisory.
Advisory, so it's advisory, so you are aware of that. And I don't have any more questions. It seems that the figure is very big change. It's from 33 meter to a 60.3. So it's only just a change of design. It's a stack, right? You're talking.
Through you, Madam Chair, yes, it's just a change to the height of the ventilation stack above the roof of the building.
Okay.
So the current permitted height of the building is 45.3 meters. We are requesting a stack height of 15 meters above the roof of the building.
Yes. I think this is occur very commonly during construction or during design development. So, okay, we are in committee now. Comment or motion, please. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I can. Mr. Wee, can you hear us? We cannot hear you. No, we can hear us. Oh, I can. We can hear him?
Sorry, I was muted, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry for that.
Any comment on this case?
No.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept this application.
Okay.
And I note that the applicant is agreeing to the recommendations set out by the planning staff report.
And yeah, community planning, yeah. Second to that motion, please. Mr. Wilkins, second. All in favor? Unanimously approved. Thank you. It's all approved. It's unanimously. Thank you. Next, no, next item. Are we going to next item or?
Through you, Madam Chair, we resume till 2 p.m.
Oh, 2 p.m. Okay, we finish our morning session. We will come back at 2 p.m. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. That was very efficient.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. We'll see you at 2 o'clock.
And we give people
Be sure to
breaks.
mute.
Yeah, we have a lot.
And then we take an hour lunch, and then we hope that we'll get back for 2 to deal with the other items. There were a bunch, 5 items that dropped off of this one. That's why we only had 15 this morning.
No, that's fine. I'm not complaining. Okay, but it's just, as you know, I have to leave by 7, so if there was any reason that we could have a shorter lunch hour, but I guess that's not possible.
Thank you.
No, because it's scheduled, the people will not be here.
Because if we've already told the afternoon session.
So if this had gone in further into the afternoon, then maybe we just do a 45-minute lunch so that we can start, yeah.
I got you.
But the last 2 sessions, we can combine them after 2. It's only 1 session. After 2.
Yeah, after 2 o'clock, yeah.
No, sometimes we have.
Because there's only 30 items, right? Normally we have 40, so,
Hey,
yeah.
so we have to set a record.
So do we mute our mics and can we mute the room, please?
Yeah. I muted my video. 2 seconds.
I didn't get up on this morning.
Oh, coffee is good. The problem with coffee is that people don't drink enough